What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're taking a look at Sniper Elite Resistance here on the Steam Deck. Now, of course, I'll be checking this game out on all the different handhelds, but I wanted to start with this one as I usually do and kind of see how it's running here on the deck. And actually, this game runs really well even without a whole lot of settings options. So let's go ahead and get into it and take a look, starting with the settings and what we have here. Now, as far as options, borderless, full screen, or exclusive full screen, we're going to be 800p here on the deck, and no VSync turned on. Render scale options here as well, which we'll take a look at later. And then we also have quality presets, which are going to be your typical low, medium, high, ultra. You can definitely get away with low, medium, and high in this game, it looks like. And then you have some individual settings you can adjust as well, but there's not a whole lot of options here. We don't have FSR, XeSS, or any of that going on, just a few simple options, and honestly you don't really need it. The game runs really well here on the deck and really well on everything else I've been testing it on. But jumping in here to the first stage, and we'll jump around a little bit, but this is an easy area to run, so we'll take a look at another spot too that's a little harder. But this first spot, even at low here, well into the 80s, taking advantage of the 90 FPS that the Steam Deck OLED can do here. We pop that over to medium, we'll lose about 20 FPS, kind of expected here, especially with the draw distance and everything. It's going to take a bit of a hit. Still fantastic performance considering we're 800p native here on the deck with the game. And then we'll switch over to the high preset here. Again, even though it's an easier spot to run, we're still up around 45 FPS. That's pretty darn good considering we're not doing any kind of upscaling or anything like that. We're just 100% on the 800p here. So I think that's pretty impressive. I'm pretty happy with that. Now, Ultra I would stay away from no matter what, even in the easier to run areas. That's just, it obviously gets to be too much. But I took a look at it anyways, and if we were in other spots, it's definitely going to get down to the teens on us pretty easily. And we'll jump back over to low here, and we'll pop back up into the 80s just in this spot. So obviously, this game is not all that hard to run. Seems pretty well optimized. It looks nice, though not necessarily too graphically intense, and no upscalers to mess with, FSR, XeSS, any of that kind of stuff. No frame gen needed. It just kind of is a game that runs well here. And I've played all the Sniper Elite games, and I played them for the campaign, really enjoy them, and I'm happy to see this one running really well. Again, I've already started testing it on the other handhelds as well, where it seems to be running really, really good. And it's definitely running well here on the Steam Deck. Now let's jump over and take a look at another area that's a little harder to run. As you get into the second mission and the third mission, I've gone a couple more missions in. This is the second mission, 20 FPS, 23 FPS off the bat, lower than the easier to run area we were just at when we're on low. Going to medium instead of 65, 67 FPS like the other spots is around 53, 52. Obviously, depending on where you're at in the game, it's going to depend on the performance that you're going to get. Still really good though. We can switch this over to high right here. And this, instead of 45 FPS like we had in the other spot, about 36. And I'm not going to mess with ultra. For me, the sweet spot on this one's pretty much just going with medium, and then you can tweak things to your liking from there in the individual settings. Motion blur is one that I would usually turn off. Tessellation seems fine the way it is. Helps out a little bit. I'd leave ambient occlusion alone because the game looks pretty bad for the 4 FPS that you gain. But again, not a lot of options here to play around with, so adjust things to your liking there. But for me, pretty much just going with medium, and motion blur off is working pretty well for me here on this and some of the other devices as well, but definitely here on the Steam Deck. Now let me go back here. And that resolution scale, you can play with that too. If you want to run higher settings, you want to lock your frame rates, you want to save battery, whatever the case may be, adjust your resolution scale. You gain tons of FPS and overhead with that. And you can even go the other direction and sharpen up the picture if you're going for a more sharper image quality or picture there. So a little bit of option to play with, even though we don't have a whole lot of options, but plenty for your own preferences and how you might want this game to look and run on the Steam Deck for you. It's going to be a very easy thing to tweak and get the kind of performance that you want. Even if you're someone that wants to lock a 30 or 40 or 45 FPS, save some battery, smooth out gameplay, run higher settings, whatever, doesn't look like you're going to have any problem with that. I've run into the occasional load-in stutter from time to time, but it's very rare. It doesn't seem to happen often, and all of these occasions where you have the zoomed-in shots on the bodies and stuff like that, they'll go lower in FPS. You'll see dips, but never really get into stutters or any jankiness on the screen, so that's really nice. Everything stays feeling smooth, and again, if you're someone that's locking frame rate, that'll help you out too. Now, I don't really play multiplayer in this game a lot, but I jumped in to take a look. You do have to install Denuvo multiplayer on this to do that, and then you can jump in. But I just want to see what performance was doing for a couple of minutes. I only went into a couple of maps that were nighttime, didn't really get into a lot. Because again, I play these games for the campaign, but it ran fine. It ran as good, if not better. This is still medium as the campaign did. So I don't think that would be any problem. You'll definitely get the frame rate that you want for this game. And being a sniper game, you're not going for that super high FPS typically anyways, so shouldn't be any problem there. But anyways, guys, Sniper Elite Resistance running really good here on the Steam Deck. It's nice to see a game here at launch, even if it's not the most intense game, just running well, just running good here on the deck, and really all the other handhelds that I'm working on as well. So anyway, I'm going to leave you with a little bit more gameplay to check out. Thanks a lot for coming to check out the video as always. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.
Gestapo have been here a few days at least. Looks like they ain't found Vertigo yet. Good. Means I've still got a chance. Ah, this is proper useful.
Sucht überall! Findet ihn, verdammt!